Is she to be buried in Christian burial that willfully seeks her own salvation? I tell thee she is, and therefore make her grave straight. The crowner hath sat on her and finds it Christian burial. How can that be? Unless she drowned herself in self-defense. Why, 'tis found so. It must be. Se offendendo. It cannot be else. Yet, for, herein lies the point. If I drown myself wittingly, it argues an act. And an act hath three parts. It is to act, to do, and to perform. Argal, she drowned herself wittingly. Nay, but hear you, good man Delver. Give me leave.
Here lies the water. Good. Here stands the man. Good. If the man go to this water and drown himself, it is will he, nil he goes. Mark you that. But if the water go to the man and drown him, he drowns not himself. Argal, he that is not guilty of his own death shortens not his own life.
But is this law?
Aye, marry, is't Crowner's quest law.
Well, you had the truth on it. If this had not been a gentlewoman, she should have been buried out of Christian burial.
Why, there thou sayest. The more the pity that great folk should have countenance in this world to drown or hang themselves more than you're even Christian. Come, my spade.
There is no ancient gentleman but gardeners, ditchers, and gravediggers hold up Adam's profession.
Elsie, gentleman?
He was the first that ever bore arms.
Why, he had none.
What? Art a heathen? How dost thou understand the scripture? The scripture says, Adam digged. Could he dig without arms? I'll put another question to thee. If thou answerest me not to the purpose, confess thyself.
Go to.
What is he that builds stronger than either the mason, the shipwright, or the carpenter? Ah, the gallows maker. For that frame outlives 1,000 tenants. I like thy wit well. In good faith, the gallows does well, but how does it do well? It does well to those that do it.
Now thou dost ill to say the gallows is built stronger than the church. Ogle, the gallows may do for thee. Do it again, come.
Who built stronger than a mason, a shipwright, or a carpenter?
Aye, tell me that, non-yoke.
Mary, now I can tell.
Do it.
Mass, I cannot tell.
Cudgel thy brains no more about it. For your dull ass will not mend his pace but with beating.
Whoa!
And when you ask this question next, say, a grave maker. The houses he makes last till doomsday. Do. Get thee to your home. Fetch me a stoop of liquor.
Okay.
In youth, when I did love, methought 'twas very sweet to contract out the time for my behove. Oh, methought there was nothing meet.
Hath this fellow no feeling of his business that he sings at grave making? Custom hath made it him a property of easiness. 'Tis e'en so, the hand of little employment hath the daintier sense. But age with his stealing steps hath clawed me in his clutch, and hath shipped me into the land as if I had never been such. This skull had a tongue in it, and could sing once. How the knave jells it to the ground as if it were Cain's jawbone that did the first murder. It might be the pate of a politician which this ass now o'erreaches, one that would circumvent God, might it not?
It might, my lord.
Or of a courtier which could say, Good morrow, sweet lord, how dost thou, good lord?
This might be my lord such a one that praised my lord such a one's horse when he meant to beg it, might it not?
Aye, my lord.
Why, e'en so. And now my lady worms, chapless and knocked about the mazzard with a sexton's spade. Here's fine revolution, and we had the trick to see it. Did these bones cost no more the breeding but to play at loggets with them? Mine ache to think on it. Pickaxe and a spade, for and a shrouding sheet. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet. There's another. Why, may not that be the skull of a lawyer? Where be his quiddities now? His quillets, his cases, his tenures, and his tricks?
Why does he suffer this rude knave now to knock him about the sconce with a dirty shovel, and will not tell him of his action of battery? Hum! This fellow might be in his time a great buyer of land, with his statutes, his recognizances, his fines, his double vouchers, his recoveries. Is this the fine of his fines, and the recovery of his recoveries? To have his fine pate full of fine dirt. Will his vouchers vouch him no more of his purchases, and double ones too, than the length and breadth of a pair of indentures? The very conveyances of his lands will hardly lie in this box, and must the inheritor himself have no more? Ha! Not a jot more, my lord. Is not parchment made of sheepskins? Aye, my lord, and of calfskins too.
They are sheep and calves which seek out assurance in that. I will talk to this fellow. Whose grave's this, sirrah? Mine, sir. Oh, a pit of clay for to be made, for such a guest is meet. I think 'tis thine indeed, for thou liest in it. You lie out on it, sir, therefore 'tis not yours. For my part, I do not lie in it, yet it is mine. Thou dost lie in it, to be in it and say 'tis thine. 'Tis for the dead, not for the quick, therefore thou liest. 'Tis a quick lie, sir, 'twill away again from me to you. What man dost thou dig it for? For no man, sir. What woman, then? For none, neither. Who is to be buried in it?
One that was a woman, sir. But rest her soul, she's dead. How absolute the knave is. We must speak by the card, or equivocation will undo us. By the Lord, Horatio, these 3 years I have taken a note of it. The age has grown so picked, the toe of the peasant comes so near the heel of the courtier, he gaffs his gibe. The quanto tempo vai becca morti. Of all the days in the year, I came to it the day that our last King Hamlet overcame Fortinbras. Wie lang ist das? Cannot you tell that? Every fool can tell that. It was the very day that young Hamlet was born. He that is mad and sent into England. Aye, and where? For how much can fun with, as he loiger. Why, because he was mad. He shall recover his wits then, if he do not, it's no great matter there.
Why? 'Twill are not to be seen in him there. There the men are as mad as he. How came he mad? Very strangely, they say. How strangely? Faith, even with losing his wits. Upon what ground? Why, here in Denmark, I have been sexton here, man and boy, 30 years. How long will a man lie in the earth ere he rot? In faith, if he be not rotten before he die, we have many pocky corpses nowadays, that will scarce hold the laying in. He will last you some 8 year or 9 year. A tanner will last you 9 year. Why he more than another? Why, sir, his hide is so tanned of his trade, that he will keep out water a great while, and your water is a sore decayer of your wholesome dead body.
Ooh, here's a skull now. This skull hath lain you in the earth 23 years. Whose was it? A whoreson mad fellow's it was. Whose do you think it was? Nay, I know not. A pestilence on him for a mad rogue. They poured a flagon of Rhenish on my head once. The same skull, sir, was, sir, Yorick's skull, the king's jester. This. In that. Let me see. Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest, of most excellent fancy. He hath borne me on his back 1,000 times, and now how abhorred in my imagination it is. My gorge rims at it.
Here hung those lips that I have kissed I know not how oft. Where be your jibes now, your gambols, your songs, your flashes of merriment that were wont to set the table a-roar? Not one now to mock your own grinning? Quite chapfallen? Now, get you to my lady's chamber and tell her, let her paint an inch thick to this favour, she must come. Make her laugh at that. Prithee, Horatio, tell me one thing. What's that, my lord? Dost thou think Alexander looked to this fashion in the earth? Even so. And smelt so? Pah! Even so, my lord. To what base uses we may return, Horatio.
Why may not imagination trace the noble dust of Alexander till he find it stopping a bunghole? 'Twere to consider too curiously to consider so. No, faith, not a jot, but to follow him thither, with modesty enough, and likelihood to lead it. As thus: Alexander died, Alexander was buried, Alexander returneth into dust. The dust is earth, of earth we make loam. And why of that loam, whereto he was converted, might they not stop a beer barrel? Imperious Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might stop a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, that that earth, which kept the world in awe, should patch a wall to expel the winter flaw. But soft, aside, here comes the king.
queen, the courtiers. Who is this they follow, and with such maimed rites? This doth betoken the corpse they follow did with desperate hand fordo his own life. 'Twas of some estate. Couch we while and mark.
What ceremony else?
That is Laertes, a very noble youth. Mark.
What ceremony else?
Her obsequies have been as far enlarged as we have warranties. Her death was doubtful, and but that great command o'ersways the order, she should in ground unsanctified have lodged till the last trumpet. For charitable prayers, shards, flints, and pebbles should be thrown on her. Yet here she is loud her virgin krantz, her maiden shriments, and the bringing home of bell and burial.
Must there no more be done?
No more be done. We would profane the sacred ritual of the dead to sing a requiem and such for her as peace-parted souls.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. I tell thee, churlish priest, a ministering angel shall my sister be when thou liest howling. What? Fair Ophelia?
Scattering the flowers. I thought thou shouldst been my Hamlet's wife. I thought thy bride bed to have decked sweet maid, but not strewn thy grave.
Oh, treble woe! Fall 10 times treble on that cursed head, whose wicked deed thy most ingenious sense deprived thee of. Hold off the earth a while, till I have once more caught thee in mine arms.
Now, pile your dust upon the quick and dead, till of this flat a mountain you have made to o'ertop old Pelion or the skyish head of blue Olympus. What is he whose grief bears such an emphasis, whose phrase of sorrow conjures the wandering stars and makes them stand like wonder-wounded hearers? This is I, Hamlet, the Dane. The devil take thy soul! Thou prayest not well. I prithee take thy fingers from my throat. For though I am not splenitive and rash, yet have I something in me dangerous, which let thy wiseness fear hold off thy hand. Pluck them asunder. Hamlet! Hamlet! Gentlemen! Good, my lord, be quiet. Why, I will fight with him upon this theme until my eyelids no longer wag.
Oh, my son, what theme? I loved Ophelia. 40,000 brothers could not, with all their quantity of love, make up my sum. What wilt thou do for her? Oh, he is mad, Laertes. For love of God, forbear him. Swoons, show me what thou'lt do. Would weep? Would fight? Would fast? Would tear thyself? Would drink up Isel? Eat a crocodile? I'll do it. Dost thou come here to whine? To outface me with leaping in her grave? Be buried quick with her, and so will I. And if thou prate of mountains, let them throw millions of acres on us, till our ground, singeing his pate against the burning zone, make Ossa like a wart. Nay, and thou'lt mouth, I'll rant as well as thou.
This is mere madness, and thus a while the fit will work on him. Anon, as patient as the female dove, when that her golden couplets are disclosed, his silence will sit drooping. Hear you, sir, what is this reason that you use me thus? I loved you ever, but it is no matter. Let Hercules himself do what he may. The cat will mew, and the dog will have his day.
I pray you, good Horatio, wait upon him. But strengthen your patience in our last night's speech. We'll put the matter to the present push. Good Gertrude, set some watch over your son. This grave shall have a living monument. An hour of quiet shortly shall we see. Till then, in patience our proceeding be.